Sometimes the hardest thing to do is nothing at all. Paulo Coelho. This quote speaks to a counterintuitive truth about relationships. Restraint can be powerful. The idea that why ignoring women makes them like you may sound unconventional, but there's deep psychology at play here. The human mind craves the unfamiliar and is often drawn to those who stand out from the crowd. By stepping back, you give women space to notice you, triggering curiosity and interest. When you're not always readily available, it creates an air of mystery, making them wonder what you're up to and why you're not vying for their attention. This subtle, confident approach taps into one of the most intriguing psychological secrets. Scarcity makes something or someone appear more valuable. This guide will dive deep into 8 proven tactics, showing how ignoring women makes them instantly like you. It's not about playing games, but mastering the art of attraction by knowing when to lean in and when to step back. Ready to understand the allure of silence and how it can shift the dynamic in your favor? Keep reading to discover the secrets behind why ignoring women works so effectively. Number 1. The test of interest. How to gauge attraction in women. In relationships, women often possess a deeper need for validation compared to men. Establishing a balanced and healthy connection requires genuine attention and affirmation. Interestingly, some men may choose to overlook women's signals, not out of indifference but as a subtle test of their interest. This approach serves as a way to gauge attraction, akin to trying out a product before making a purchase. When attention is freely given without being earned, it risks being taken for granted. Women quickly discern whether a man values their time and if he is worthy of theirs through his actions and reactions. This scenario becomes a test of interest, similar to examining the quality of an item before deciding if it's worth investing in. By taking a step back, men can observe whether a woman reaches out. If she does, it signifies genuine interest. To stand out, do what others don't. Refrain from unnecessary attention or investment. This tactic signals that you value your own time and won't invest in one-sided relationships. Men typically seek reassurance that the connection isn't merely one-sided, but there's no need to ask directly. As Steve Jobs famously stated, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. By setting boundaries, you not only respect yourself, but also earn her respect in return. Imagine this scenario. You decide not to initiate contact first, perhaps by delaying a morning message or weekend plans. Initially, this might unsettle her, but it effectively communicates real interest. By giving her space, you challenge her to step forward if she genuinely cares. It's a delicate balance between showing you care and being the sole investor in the relationship. If she doesn't reach out, you gain clarity and save your time. Next, establish boundaries regarding your availability. For instance, let her know you're open to making plans, but won't always take the lead. This isn't about creating distance. It's about mutual respect. Setting standards for your engagement shows her that you value your time and won't settle for less than respect. It's all about refocusing on yourself. By doing so, you'll notice a shift. As she recognizes you aren't like others, curiosity will naturally increase. This approach reflects a core Stoic principle: control what you can and let go of what you cannot. When you refrain from constant outreach, she will wonder, why isn't he reaching out more? Consequently, her curiosity peaks and she will likely invest more, reaffirming her interest and your value in her eyes. A question arises: does your value increase when you respect your own time? Can the curiosity born from restraint foster a deeper connection? This strategy not only enhances self-esteem, but also nurtures genuine interest, allowing her to advance if she is genuinely attracted. By valuing yourself and setting standards, you'll attract those equally interested in building something meaningful. Remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it. as Peter Drucker wisely noted. In embracing your self-worth and the art of restraint, you pave the way for authentic connections, stimulating deeper emotional engagement and sparking curiosity that leads to a more profound relationship. Ultimately, a mutual investment in time and effort transforms casual connections into lasting bonds, fostering relationships rooted in respect, curiosity, and genuine desire. Number 2. Overcoming excessive reactions, shifting negative thoughts away from her. In the pursuit of attracting a woman, men often face a paradox. The more choices she has, the less she values your attention. This phenomenon, which I term psychological boredom, can lead to feelings of frustration and helplessness. If you've been excessively kind to a woman who doesn't reciprocate your respect, it might be time to distance yourself from her, even if that feels counterintuitive. Women often take good treatment for granted. While they may profess to appreciate kindness, the reality can be starkly different. You might start to feel like an annoyance in her life, or worse, that your value is diminishing. Just like anyone else, men fear rejection and can feel vulnerable, which may lead to seeking misguided validation through incessant communication. It might seem instinctual to send more messages or increase your efforts to be kind, but ignoring her could reset the dynamics of your relationship. By asserting that you won't tolerate disrespect, you can shift the balance of power. Yet many men struggle to implement this approach, often finding it hard to ignore the very woman they care about. Remember, by refusing to let someone disrespect you, you establish your self-worth. Dignity and self-respect are essential in any interaction. Nowadays, many women seek continuous attention, often using platforms like Instagram to attract followers and admirers. This behavior can lead to an emotional and financial drain on countless men who long for their affection. Ignoring a woman acts as a shield, a means of protecting your emotional health. She may notice even the slightest changes in your behavior, prompting her to reflect on how she treats you. Giving her space allows her to reconsider her actions. She might come to realize that she hasn't treated you as you deserve. This introspection can evoke feelings of regret, driving her to reach out, not necessarily to reignite a romantic relationship, but to appease her conscience before moving forward. It's crucial to recognize that her return doesn't automatically equate to a desire for a committed relationship. Instead, it's an opportunity for her to reflect on her behavior. By stepping back, you not only regain control, but also demonstrate respect for your own needs. Navigating the complexities of attraction requires balance. Sometimes the best way to prove your worth is to step away, allowing the other person to reevaluate their feelings. Your self-esteem is paramount, as Nelson Mandela wisely stated. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Embracing this mindset can foster healthier interactions and nurture deeper relationships. In a world saturated with distractions and superficial connections, finding the courage to step back can be transformative. When you prioritize your self-worth, you create an environment where respect and genuine interest can flourish. It's about more than just attracting someone. It's about fostering a connection rooted in mutual respect and understanding. By shifting the narrative away from excessive reactions and negativity, you open the door to authentic relationships. Remember, it's not just about chasing after her approval. It's about creating a space where both of you can thrive. The journey toward emotional independence and mutual respect begins with recognizing your own value, setting boundaries, and allowing both parties to grow in the process. As you navigate this intricate dance of attraction, hold on to your worth and let it guide you toward deeper, more fulfilling connections. Number 3, curiosity and connection, finding balance without games. Ignoring someone might seem like a simple tactic, but the psychological effects are far more complex than they appear. The saying, "we want what we can't have," holds some truth, yet it's essential to understand that women often respond to silence in varied ways. Rather than sparking immediate curiosity, some may actually lose interest if they feel ignored, seeing it not as mystery, but as a lack of genuine connection. So, how can you spark curiosity without the risk of losing her interest entirely? The answer lies in balance. A touch of mystery, without being distant, can fuel her curiosity, making her wonder why you've pulled back. Picture this. She's been delighted by your attention, but now that attention has faded, questions start to form in her mind. Why did he suddenly stop pursuing me? Has he lost interest? Or maybe, is there someone else? When a woman senses a change in your behavior, she may begin to wonder. This isn't about playing games. It's about maintaining a healthy level of independence that shows you have your own life, your own passions and ambitions. It's a magnetic quality that grows not from availability but from authenticity. By focusing on your own development and interests, you're naturally cultivating an aura of confidence and self-possession that can draw her in. Sometimes curiosity blooms from the unexpected. You're no longer centering her as the core of your world, and this subtly shifts the dynamic. Instead of chasing her back, you've created a space where she may feel compelled to lean in, wondering what's unfolding in your life beyond her view. Consider this example. Studies in psychology highlight the uncertainty effect, which suggests that people are often more intrigued by what they don't fully understand or by situations that break from routine. When she reaches out again, it might not necessarily be because she wants to reconnect romantically. It could be a simple desire to check if your interest is still there. Balance is key. Sparking curiosity doesn't mean withholding responses. It's about showing genuine respect and interest without pushing for something more. If she's coming back just to see if you're still focused on her, remember that real attraction thrives on mutual effort, not one-sided pursuit. So, before responding, consider this. Is she returning out of genuine interest or just to test the waters? Curiosity may have drawn her back, but real connection lies in understanding each other's intentions, creating room for something genuine without games or guesswork. Number 4. The scarcity effect. Igniting instant attraction by pulling away. Have you ever found yourself drawn to someone only to notice that the more eager you are, the less they seem to invest in you? It's perplexing, yet there's a potent psychological principle at play known as the scarcity effect. As social psychologist Robert Cialdini notes, when something appears less available, it often sparks a greater desire. Scarcity can create allure, making others yearn for exclusivity or a unique connection. Imagine this. When someone you're interested in sees you as just another option rather than a priority, it's time to recalibrate your willingness to be available. By taking a step back, you amplify your allure. Psychologically, scarcity elevates the perceived value of a person or thing. Creating a little distance fosters a desire for access, a concept frequently employed in marketing, where brands cultivate urgency and exclusivity to drive demand. Yet this principle isn't limited to sales. It applies powerfully in relationships too. We often find ourselves wanting something simply because it's hard to obtain. The principle is crystal clear. Scarcity increases demand. By nurturing a little space, are you not fostering a social scarcity that enhances your perceived value? This isn't about manipulation. It's about respecting your worth and allowing others to recognize it. Steve Jobs once said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." If you find yourself always available or too accommodating, take a moment to reflect. Does this respect your own time? Ask yourself, am I placing myself at the forefront here? Perhaps you're engrossed in personal projects, your career, or passions. By concentrating on your life, you naturally cultivate an atmosphere of mystery and purpose. This, in turn, fosters genuine attraction built on respect and interest rather than mere convenience. A touch of distance can serve as a powerful reminder of your worth. Let others reach out to meet you rather than the other way around. This isn't merely about playing hard to get. It's about establishing healthy boundaries that assert your value. When you prioritize your own goals and interests, you project an aura of independence and confidence. This magnetic energy can draw others toward you, igniting a spark of interest. People are instinctively attracted to those who are passionate about their lives. When you embrace your individuality, it creates an intriguing dynamic, an essence of mystery that can captivate anyone. Let's reframe the narrative. Instead of chasing, allow your presence to speak volumes. When you shift your focus from constant availability to self-investment, you transform into a person others seek to understand and connect with. This is not about being elusive. It's about building an authentic connection grounded in mutual respect. In the grand tapestry of human relationships, embracing the scarcity effect can be a game changer. Allow yourself the space to grow and flourish, and watch as the dynamics shift. When you embody your values and passions, you not only elevate your own life, but also invite others to appreciate you for who you truly are. Ultimately, remember this: a little space can illuminate your value. When you create that necessary distance, you cultivate a sense of intrigue and respect. So, let them come to you. In this dance of connection, the power of scarcity might just be your greatest ally. Embrace it, and watch the magic unfold. Number 5, the power of self-transformation. Why ignoring a woman can make her like you more. One intriguing reason why an ex might reappear in your life is simple. You've transformed. Imagine it. She's out with a friend, maybe even a mutual one, who casually mentions, "Have you seen him lately?" He's changed. He's focused, more confident, and truly seems at peace with himself. In that moment, a mix of curiosity and intrigue ignites in her mind. She begins to wonder, has he really changed? Is he the same person who never seemed to grow when we were together, now thriving without me? What's unfolding is a powerful truth. You've committed to becoming a better version of yourself. This transformation demonstrates that you value yourself enough to improve, regardless of past circumstances. The irony? This evolution now intrigues her, and she may want to see if she can reconnect with this new you. But here's the real question you need to ask yourself if she does return. Is she genuinely interested in who I've become, or just nostalgic for who I used to be? 1. The undeniable power of self-improvement. People committed to self-improvement often become more attractive, not just in appearance, but in energy. That newfound confidence and satisfaction with life radiate outward. And when someone you once cared for sees you evolving, it sends a clear message. You chose action over pity, growth over stagnation. As Tony Robbins once said, change is inevitable. Progress is optional. By choosing progress, you're stepping into a realm that few people can easily follow. So what does this progress look like? It could be taking up a new hobby, dedicating yourself to fitness, embracing new skills, or simply cultivating a greater peace with who you are. Regardless, she sees you now as someone who has broken free of old patterns, someone committed to their journey, someone she can't help but notice. 2. Why curiosity and distance spark attraction. Ignoring someone you once cared for has a surprising effect. When you stop chasing and instead focus on your own growth, you're creating a psychological dynamic called reactance, a fancy term for wanting what you feel you can't have. If she assumed you'd fall apart without her, your transformation and resilience throw her expectations off balance and curiosity kicks in. This isn't about manipulation or games. It's about showing that you're strong and fulfilled on your own terms. She might now be wondering, if he's this content without me, what did I miss? It's a classic case of absence makes the heart grow fonder, but amplified. Your time apart wasn't spent wallowing. It was spent exploring, growing, and discovering who you are. And that self-discovery is powerfully magnetic. 3. If she returns, embrace confidence and clarity. Should she return, here's where you can step up. Approach this situation with confidence, but keep your dignity intact. If she's back out of curiosity or nostalgia, ask yourself if she truly aligns with the person you are now. This is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Detachment from outcomes gives you clarity and keeps you grounded. Your growth journey isn't about getting even. It's about understanding what you deserve and what aligns with your values and goals. You're not returning to a relationship hoping to fill a void. You're standing strong in who you've become and who you're yet to be. 4. Asking the right questions. When an ex shows renewed interest, especially after witnessing your transformation, ask yourself a few key questions. Does she genuinely admire the person I've become, or is she just looking back with rose-colored glasses? Is she someone who supports my growth, or would getting back together lead to old habits resurfacing? Am I happy and fulfilled in my life now, independent of whether she's part of it? By asking these questions, you're keeping your focus on self-respect. Her renewed interest doesn't define your worth. This journey wasn't for revenge, it was for self-respect, which is infinitely more satisfying. If she truly values your growth and respects your journey, she might be worth reconsidering. If not, you've already won by evolving. 5. A quick self-check for authentic growth. Let's bring in a real-world example. Take Jim. After a tough breakup, he felt lost. But instead of dwelling on it, he joined a fitness class, started reading about personal growth, and even picked up rock climbing. A few months later, his ex reached out, curious about his transformation. He listened, but ultimately chose to move forward because he found fulfillment in the new passions he'd cultivated. His choice wasn't based on anger or pride, but on clarity about who he'd become. 6. Actionable wisdom, living beyond validation. You're on this journey not to impress or win back anyone, but to fully realize your potential. If she does come back, let your decision rest on whether her intentions align with the path you're walking. Remember, the best response isn't revenge or indifference, but fulfillment. You've set a new standard, and your life is now built on self-worth, not someone else's validation. To paraphrase a piece of timeless wisdom, the best revenge is living a life so fulfilling that you don't seek validation from those who couldn't see your worth. Focus on the path you're carving, and the right people, those who genuinely support your journey, will be drawn to walk alongside you. Number 6, make them search for sweetness again. Have you ever wondered why sometimes when you pull back or go silent, people seem to miss you more? This phenomenon has deep roots in human psychology and our natural craving for validation. When two people share a connection, especially a romantic one, the emotional exchange runs deeper than most realize. You might have made them feel seen, valued, or even special. And when that stops, it leaves a gap that often makes them long for your presence. Let's dive into why this happens, and why it might make them want you back even more. The power of validation, a missing piece. In any relationship, the little things you say and do can create a profound sense of validation. Maybe you said things like, "Every time I see you smile, it's like I've won the happiness lottery." Those words anchor themselves in someone's heart, making them feel irreplaceable and cherished. When those words vanish, they're left with a sense of loss. realizing the very thing that made them feel irreplaceable has disappeared. As Maya Angelou beautifully put it, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. When that feeling is gone, they notice its absence and begin to crave it. 2. The unique effect, realizing no one treats them like you did. When someone new comes along, they bring their own behaviors, habits, and ways of showing affection. But if those don't quite measure up to the experiences they had with you, the comparisons begin. Your words, the way you created space for them, how you made even the smallest moments feel special, those things stand out. And they start to realize that what you offered was truly one of a kind. Think of it like this. You might have said something like, "With you, I don't need a map, because wherever you are, that's exactly where I want to be." That's not something that's easily replicated. In those quiet moments of reflection, they start to miss the significance they felt with you. 3. Social and psychological factors. The scarcity principle. There's a psychological phenomenon called the scarcity principle, where people tend to value things more when they're less available. When you cut off contact, the immediate accessibility they once took for granted vanishes, making your presence suddenly more valuable. A rare gift they can no longer access so easily. They remember that moment. If you were a car, you would definitely be a supercar. No one can help but notice you when you appear. It's like seeing a rare item in a shop. Even if you weren't planning to buy it, knowing it's the last one left can create a sense of urgency. This principle applies to relationships too. The fewer check-ins or casual texts you send, the more they realize how much they relied on your constant availability to feel validated. Comparing to current experiences. If they're dating someone new, they might be confronted with just how different things are without you. Maybe the new person doesn't make them laugh the same way, or the compliments don't feel as genuine. Your absence allows them to fully experience the difference, highlighting what they're missing. There's an old saying that captures this perfectly. You don't know what you have until it's gone. When they recognize what's been lost, they often start to miss everything, from the jokes to the deep conversations. Maybe they hate themselves when they remember this sentence of yours. "I don't need a faraway trip, because just being with you makes me feel like I'm in heaven." 5. The science of uncertainty and attraction. Psychological research shows that uncertainty can be a powerful motivator. When someone isn't sure how you feel or whether they can get back into your life, it activates the brain's reward centers. That sense of mystery becomes a source of attraction, driving them to think more about you and what they might have lost. It's like the echo of your words still lingers in their mind. "I'm not a scientist, but you're definitely the most successful experiment in my life." Think of it this way. Why do cliffhangers in movies keep us so captivated? It's the unresolved story that makes us want more. In relationships, the same principle applies. When you pull back, you leave unanswered questions like, "Do they still care about me?" Or, "Will they reach out?" That gap creates space for attraction to grow again. 6. What should you do? When faced with this situation, take the time to reflect on what you truly want. Pulling back can often provide clarity for you and remind the other person of what they had. But it's not about playing games. It's about focusing on what also enhances your own happiness and well-being. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." By centering on your own growth and happiness, you naturally create an atmosphere that draws others to you. Not because of any strategy, but because you're genuinely at peace with yourself. Taking a step back and allowing yourself room to grow can often be the most attractive quality. When you value yourself enough not to chase, you create a magnetic pull that others find hard to resist. So, if you find yourself wondering why someone might miss you more when you're not around, remember this: it's not manipulation. It's about honoring yourself and giving others the space to realize your worth. Keep in mind that creating space is not about making someone miss you as a tactic, but about valuing your own presence and letting them come to that realization themselves. By embracing your own journey and not forcing validation from others, you become a more confident, independent person, someone others are naturally drawn to. Number 7. Letting go of jealousy. Finding strength in your own worth. Jealousy and resentment often reveal themselves in peculiar ways. Imagine someone walking away from you, deciding you're no longer valuable, only to see someone else appreciating you and realizing they can't stand it. They didn't value you enough to stay, but they can't accept that someone else does. This paradox, a mix of possessiveness and envy, is rooted in a selfish desire to control what they themselves discarded. They regret letting you go, yet they have no intention of cherishing you if given another chance. Have you ever found yourself caught in a similar situation, feeling conflicted and confused about someone's true intentions? This kind of emotional tug-of-war isn't uncommon. It reflects a person's deep insecurity, driven by the fear of losing what they once took for granted. It's like they want to keep the door open just in case, but have no desire to walk through it themselves. As Epictetus once said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This quote perfectly captures the struggle of those unable to appreciate the present, instead harboring a sense of entitlement over what they no longer possess. Psychologically speaking, this behavior can be linked to what's known as reactive jealousy, a term that describes a jealous reaction triggered when someone else values what they abandoned. Why then do they hold on emotionally without truly wanting you? It's because of their ego. Admitting they were wrong is difficult, so they cling to a sense of false ownership, refusing to let someone else have what they once disregarded. This creates a toxic cycle where they don't want to lose, but they also don't want to win fairly. This raises a challenging question. Why should you let someone's indecisiveness dictate your worth? Imagine you are holding a bar of soap in your hand. The tighter you hold on, the more it slips away. Relationships are the same. Trying to control or cling too tightly only leads to emptiness. If someone has chosen to walk away, it is not your responsibility to hold them back. Your power lies in letting go gracefully. Break the cycle. Focus on your own growth. Understanding their emotional games is the first step toward liberation. Don't fall into the trap of proving your value to someone who couldn't see it when it mattered. Shift your attention to those who genuinely care about you. By valuing yourself and staying true to your self-worth, you break free from their invisible chains. For example, imagine a person who starts flourishing the moment they remove themselves from this toxic dynamic. They stop seeking validation from those who dangle their emotions like a puppet string and start building a life that's meaningful to them. They channel their energy into projects, passions, and people who reciprocate that same energy. What should you do if you're in this situation? Recognize the pattern. Acknowledge if someone's behavior is causing confusion or holding you back. It's not about blaming them, but about seeing things for what they are. Set boundaries. Make your boundaries clear. You have the right to distance yourself from someone who doesn't truly value you. Focus on your happiness. Invest in yourself, your career, friendships, and hobbies. This will not only boost your confidence, but make you more resistant to emotional manipulation. Be honest with yourself. Are you holding on for the right reasons, or because you're afraid of being alone? Honesty is the best way to regain control. This isn't about resentment or getting even. It's about setting yourself free. As American author Mark Twain famously said, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started." Let go of people who don't see your worth and start prioritizing those who do. So how will you choose to reclaim your narrative? Will you let go of the emotional tug-of-war and write your own story, free from the grip of jealousy and selfishness? Your happiness shouldn't depend on someone's inability to make up their mind. Choose yourself and take the next step toward emotional freedom. Number 8, nurturing a Stoic mindset. Stoicism teaches us the value of emotional control and detachment. Picture the impression you leave when you exude calm and confidence amidst emotional chaos. There's an undeniable attraction in that. What could be more captivating than someone who stands firm, unmoved, no matter the storm? By embodying this, you cultivate self-assurance and, paradoxically, create a magnetic pull that makes her appreciate the solid foundation you represent. 1. The thrill of the chase and the power of space. Many women enjoy the thrill of being pursued, while men often find themselves cast as the chaser. It's almost as if biology nudges us in those directions. But what happens when you step back? Suddenly, her curiosity ignites. She starts to wonder why you're maintaining your distance. And maybe, just maybe, she'll make the first move. Imagine this. You've shown genuine interest, a desire to get to know her, perhaps even taken some meaningful steps forward. Initially, she appears a bit elusive. Eventually, you decide to step back. No texts, no calls for a month or two. Then, out of nowhere, she reaches out. "Hey, want to meet up?" Now, you might not have found anyone else, or maybe you still genuinely admire her. Her simple gesture stirs emotions within you. You engage with her again, showing half your interest, keeping things balanced. And almost predictably, she pulls away again. It's not necessarily because she craves a committed relationship. It's often about the intoxicating feeling of being desired. In relationships, this means that unexpected attention, given occasionally, can bring a rush of excitement and longing. For some, the excitement doesn't lie in the relationship itself, but in the chase, the endless pursuit that keeps them on edge. As Mark Manson, author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, said, "The more something threatens your identity, the more you avoid it." For some, the reality of commitment feels like a threat to their independence. So they engage just enough to spark interest, then retreat, leaving the other person wondering. 2. So, what's the Stoic approach here? When facing someone who thrives on intermittent attention, hold your ground. Instead of getting swept up in the chase, anchor yourself in Stoic principles. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Embrace this power by staying focused on your well-being, valuing your happiness above the constant need for approval from others. 3. What does this mean? Practically, when she reaches out, respond with kindness, but don't dive back into the chase. Consider what you truly want. If you seek a meaningful relationship, let that be clear in your actions and responses. If she reciprocates, great. If not, respect her space and maintain your own. This isn't about playing games, but about showing that you value yourself and won't sacrifice your inner peace for fleeting desires. Letting her come to you while remaining steadfast to your principles might seem counterintuitive, but it's deeply rooted in self-respect and emotional maturity. Not only does it make you more attractive, but it also reinforces your sense of self-worth. By embodying this mindset, you make a statement without uttering a single word. 4. Can you remain calm, confident, and unmoved? Keeping a composed and steady attitude in the face of temporary attention can transform your interactions. It creates a balance where you pursue what truly fulfills you without allowing momentary emotions to dictate your actions. There's a profound power in knowing when to step back, creating a space for curiosity and attraction to flourish naturally. Understanding the dynamics of attraction can be complex, but one undeniable truth remains. When you master the art of emotional distance, you often ignite a spark of interest in women. This intriguing phenomenon, where ignoring women makes them instantly like you, hinges on psychological principles that highlight the importance of unpredictability and challenge. By not being overly available, you create a sense of intrigue, prompting them to seek your attention even more. Remember, it's not about playing games, but rather about embodying confidence and self-worth. Show that you value yourself first, and you'll find that women naturally gravitate toward you. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the Stoic Goddess for more transformative content and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps foster a community of growth and understanding. And of course, hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.